Benny was over the moon, as she now had her first real job in the city. She left Gravesend and moved into my family home to help her get on her feet.
Benedetta was the best person in my life I had met. She was somebody who... Benedetta was a person who lived fully. And I'm glad she did that. Because she had a very short life on this earth.
When Benny's role became a permanent position within her company, she moved on and rented a room in a house with Tracy.
I remember you came along with Benny when she came to view the house, and almost instantly I took to Benny, and she came into the house. She had an open face, a very open smile, slightly hesitant, I suppose, initially. And I thought, no, she's going to suit this property really well, and I'm going to enjoy living with her. Whenever she went home to Italy to visit her family, she would come back with just these amazing Italian clothes, and I remember in particular beautiful handbags. So she'd always take those out and show me what her new purchases were. Always looked great and immaculate. Even when she wore just jeans, she just looked just very beautiful, very simple. She was very graceful. She had a grace about her that just transcended through everything that she did.
Even though she had her own place, she still spent most of her time with me at my family home. But during this time, our relationship started to show its first crack. We went through a rocky period. Benny decided to leave the company and got herself another job in Embankment. Several years later, she had to travel via Aldgate to get to her new job. On the 7th of July 2005, Benny got on the Underground at Liverpool Street, and the next stop was Aldgate. The bombing on 7th of July took the lives of 52 people. Benny was one of them. Another victim was Carrie Taylor. She was on the same carriage as Benny.
I can remember the day before Carrie died on the 6th. We just won the bid for 2012 Olympics.
So the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the City of London.
The night she came in, Carrie, I don't think I've ever seen her so happy in all my life. She came in through the back garden, through the kitchen patio door, and she stood there, jumping up and down, saying, "We've won, we've won, we won. We've got the Olympics." I was actually decorating at the time, and I had one wall stripped, and she walked straight over to the wall, took the pencil out, and wrote her name on the wall, Carrie Louise Taylor, the date. We've got the Olympics. I've never seen Carrie so overjoyed in all my life. And that night was almost perfect for us. She travelled every day with her mum. They got the same train every day from Billericay up to Liverpool Street. They had a little ritual. At the end of the train journey, they'd walk to the end of the platform, they'd say goodbye to one another, kiss one another on the cheek. June would go off to her work. She'd walk from there, and Carrie would go down onto the tube and go to her work. That's the last time June saw of her. I didn't see her that day. It was absolutely devastating to lose Carrie. Yeah. It was a huge, massive black hole for us. I just don't know how to describe it.
And the day was fairly normal up until then. I got on the train and I was on my way to work, as I normally am, and suddenly there was just this huge explosion. Everything went black. There was lots of dust. And everything momentarily went really quiet.
The passengers were muttering and mumbling and complaining, but nobody fell over, nobody was hurt or anything like that. And then I heard people shouting and saying, we need doctors, we need nurses. So I guess something serious had happened.
I knew I was going to die. I thought that we'd had a crash, and with all this, what turned out to be dust, but I thought it was smoke. I thought the train was on fire and wasn't going to be able to get out. There was a huge hole in the train, just as close to where I could see the floor had come out of the train, and somebody had gone down that hole. People were terrified and wanting help to come, and in the meantime helping each other.
So I walked through towards the front of the train into the next carriage, and then it was obvious to me that something serious really had happened. People coming towards me in quite a bad state. You know, they got blood on them, they were in shock. The casualties were talking to me, you know, and I kept saying to them, you're not going to die, you're going to be okay, you're going to survive this, you know, you're badly hurt. One of them said, you know, I've lost my leg, and I said, yes, you have. I said, you have lost your leg, but you're going to live, you're going to be all right, you know, you're going to make this. We'll get you through, you'll be okay. And I kept saying that, I just kept saying, you're going to live, you'll be all right, you know, help's coming, I'm here, I'll stay with you. And that's all I could do for them. But I feel rotten because people died, and someone died who I didn't actually go to. Well, I was told he'd died.
Benny had so much positive energy about her. She wanted so much out of life. She was inspired by my career and wanted something similar. She looked into doing a part-time degree in IT at Birkbeck University. The entrance exam included algebra, and believe me, maths was not Benny's strong point. I knew the only way for her to pass this exam was if I sat down and taught her algebra from scratch. Night after night, I was teaching her the basics of algebra, and she used to slam her pen down in frustration as she just did not get it. But she persisted. She took the entrance exam and passed everything. She was now working at Pearson during the day, studying at Birkbeck in the evenings, a 5-year part-time degree. She was very focused on improving her life. Over time, things did change. We were both very young, and I became fearful of committing to her. I caused unnecessary tension in the relationship, and we gradually grew apart. It eventually resulted in breaking up, which was heartbreaking for both of us.
Io ho saputo tramite mia sorella che mi ha telefonato dicendomi: Roberto, guarda, è scoppiata una bomba a Londra sulla metropolitana. Io mi trovavo al Vaticano e subito dopo ho chiamato Benedetta. Ho chiamato Benedetta, come non mi ha risposto, per me ho capito subito che Benedetta era morta. Io l'ho capito subito che era morta, perché se no mia figlia mi avrebbe risposto.
It just did not make sense. We were speaking on July the 6th, 2005. We were both laughing and joking. Suddenly she was missing. I wish that Benny would not be identified amongst those bodies, as she had already been eliminated from the survivors. I just imagined she had gone off somewhere and wanted to be left alone, and her whereabouts would remain a mystery. I knew the truth was about to hit us in the face, as each body was being identified.
Perché dopo sono stato 4 giorni o 5 giorni ero lì a Londra e poi sono tornato a Roma, e dopodiché dopo altri 2 o 3 giorni, è vero, una decina di giorni sono passati, no? Dopo il 17, così, il 17 ci chiamò alla Farnesina e ci aveva detto che Benedetta l'avevano ritrovata, che era morta col DNA, perché quando eravamo andati su ci hanno preso il DNA, perché già pensavano che c'era un corpo che non era riconoscibile e può darsi che poteva essere lei.